we are reviewing Star Wars Rogue One. Yeah! Okay, let's do this. We just saw Star Wars Rogue One.
Pause, like, quick thing.
We just saw Rogue One. It was pretty sweet. We're just gonna
Awesome.
spew out our thoughts on it. Yeah, okay. So this is Adam, by the way. So we're gonna be talking about this movie for a little bit. Okay. So what did you think was the best parts? What were the best parts about Rogue One?
Action
A Star
scenes.
Wars story.
It had
I
spectacularly
agree.
exciting action scenes.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
when the guy,
amazing.
I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. There's a lot of names in this movie, but when the guy had his like staff, the blind guy who was force sensitive, he just took it out and was like, and just knocked over all the troopers. It was sweet. That was a really good action.
Fight
scene.
choreography is amazing.
Yeah, it just seemed like something out of almost want to say like Saving Private Ryan, not like the tone of it, but just at the end when there's the fighting with the rebels and the Imperials and they're coming at each other and like on the beaches and everything. That was just amazing, and especially at the end, but we'll talk about that a little bit. At
Also,
the end. It was so good.
I really enjoyed the Star Wars story format, in which they told a smaller story that's not necessarily the galactic epic, but they focused on a more focused area of the universe.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I guess in terms of the story part, I really liked the martyrdom and the rebels, it was really desperate, and to get those plans for the Death Star, there was a lot of sacrifice, and how it all played out just with the characters at the end, which I don't know if I want to spoil that.
You can't spoil that.
Maybe we can spoil it later. I don't know.
The spoiler session at the end.
Okay, sounds good. What's another thing that you liked?
I love the sets and the costumes and like and the scenes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The
I love the locations, especially the tropical island, because we never really saw that in a Star Wars movie before. We kind of saw, what was the other one that we'd seen? Like we kind of saw like a desertish planet, but it was just different enough.
It was different enough. It was like a cold desert.
Yeah, it was just different enough. So but like the tropical scene was pretty cool.
It was cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love the costumes. It looked exactly in terms of if it looked like a Star Wars movie, 100% hands down for me.
Oh, yeah. Props were easily the closest to the original trilogy.
Yeah, it looked spot on. So visually, it really looked like Star Wars. I liked how, I guess in terms of characters, I'm gonna go like the droid was pretty good. And I liked how
he had some good one-liners.
Yeah, sure. Like at the end, he was a really big badass, and it showed that droids could, like kick butt, be cool, and like,
you got emotionally attached to him.
Yeah, you liked him. You liked him, and at the end, like he really puts in some work. So it was cool. Like R2-D2 and C-3PO are awesome, but like obviously they don't really do that much fighting, and this was just interesting to see that like a droid's life, you can really feel for him at the end. So it's like droids' lives matter and things like that. They're not just like mindless robots. One of the biggest parts I think that I really liked was the Tarkin and Leia. Like,
oh my goodness!
The way they made them look,
alert.
yeah. Well, not even spoiler alert, because you'll know that this is this New Hope story basically, pre New Hope. They looked amazing.
It's like they brought Grand Moff Tarkin back.
Yeah, and so the actor that played like the Grand Moff Tarkin, he's very important for the Death Star. He's an Imperial. He died. He was very old. He was pretty old when the first movie came out, The New Hope. But the way the CG, I think this is a revolutionary thing for CG. It just, you have like the Life of Pi with the tiger that looks so real, but like this is like a human that looks so real. It honestly was like he was living and breathing, and you could see his face, and it was him. And I know Leia at the end was a lot shorter, like person, but she looked even better than he was, and I thought he was the best I've ever seen. But she looked, and it wasn't like Carrie Fisher.
You could set
them
both side by side as the originals, and you would not be able to tell.
You would not. Yeah, it really was. It was really that good, and it was fun to see that. I think movies in the future are really. I mean, once that technology gets going, that will. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's a cool thing.
Yeah,
that you can bring anyone back. I mean, like you could have a young Indiana Jones. Like you could. I mean, like I don't know if you want that, but like it literally could be Harrison Ford's face, a young Harrison Ford, being Indiana Jones doing all the adventures, because it looks that real. And so I thought that was a really great job on their part. Also the sets for like at least the Death Star and the Star Destroyers, they were really good. They used models this time.
Actual models instead of the CGI, which was great. like spectacular visuals.
I thought they looked kind of like models a little bit in the beginning. Like I was like, oh my gosh, these look like Legos. But then like the more it got going, it looked pretty good. I still think the original ones.
The original. It looked like the original.
They looked like the originals. I think the originals actually like pulled it off a lot better.
Could be your nostalgia.
But like it was pretty. No, I think they looked a lot better though. Like they just look more real. These ones looked a little too white.
Also,
but that's okay.
Another thing I liked that Meyer is a little less. He'll have criticisms just later on. I thought the new characters were fairly interesting. I thought
okay.
I thought the new villain showed a surprising amount of depth that I didn't expect out of him.
It was okay. He was pretty good. He was good.
I appreciated include definitely the family aspect. That's very important to the central Star Wars themes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which added another layer to the storyline. The Donnie Yen character is a very charismatic folk. He wasn't a complete kung fu stereotype.
Yeah, I really liked him actually. He was really fun. Him and his brother or his friend or something like that.
And the Saw Gerrera cameo. That was a cool Easter egg for all these fans of Star Wars and Clone Wars.
Oh wait. Oh, that guy. Yeah, I haven't finished the Clone Wars. I guess I just kind of petered out, but yeah, he was interesting. You knew that all the characters. I think, while they weren't like the best ever, they were like you knew there was something to them, and you knew that there was a depth. I just didn't. For me, this is gonna go into like improvements and critiques now. I think. Just for me, they wasn't doing it. Like you knew there was something important and cool about them, and that they were deep, but they just didn't show it quite enough. It was like just, and like the whole movie, 2/3 of it, I was like, it's like passable. It's, and I wasn't really like super enthusiastic until the last 1/3. But everything was just almost. It was like for me, the movie, and I don't think you've seen it. Aloha. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
It was like there was enough moments that made it. You were like, oh, it wasn't as upsetting to me, but like, I want this movie to be good. Like, just little things here and there, and it would be a really good movie, but it just fell short a little bit every time. So, like, some of the things for me was, like, the dialogue, I didn't really like it. It was very, like, fast-paced and hard to understand, and I just think they were really cramming things in there. It just was too, like, I don't know, I'm not going to say cheesy. It's not, because, like, the other ones were more cheesy. This one was just too much. It didn't, I don't know. Hold on. I don't know. The dialogue just for me wasn't on par with some of the other ones, or it just didn't like make sense. It was very fast paced, and then along with that, something that was weird was the editing and like the pacing for the whole movie was very off to me, especially in the beginning. You cut through like multiple things, and it didn't necessarily make the most sense of why they would choose to do that.
For all of you who are going in without reading the new book by James Luceno that was just released, it takes a little effort to understand the background. That book provides a lot of background, so I advise reading that before you go watch the movie.
Yeah, so did you say that enhanced your experience in the movie a lot?
I would say it enhanced my experience.
Okay, cool.
I mean, like the extent, but
yeah. So for me, there's a lot of like unanswered questions, but they weren't necessarily like something really bad. But I just felt like a lot of the story and like something that the emotion that I was supposed to feel for some of the characters and the scenes, they just weren't there because it just felt like there was something cut short. Like someone had just really snipped off like certain aspects of it so that we could just cram in more scenes. So like they kept shortening the scenes so they could fit in more scenes. But then I guess criticisms on your part?
I think your criticisms are valid. I disagree with Meyer on the extent to which they affect the overall outcome of the movie. I thought there was a few, spoiler alert, a few pieces of in-universe details that were screwed up just a little bit. There is this one scene that's absolutely ridiculous where they call it a hammerhead cruiser to literally ram one Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer, I just thought that was corny as hell. But that was a total 20-second scene maybe.
Yeah, and like for me, like I guess the main characters, the two main ones, the hero, and like her like the sidekick. I'm sorry, I don't really remember the names yet, but like they just seemed to me like they were good, but they just something wasn't there. They weren't fully like fleshed out for me, and I didn't understand their emotions and motives that much, and that really just like, especially the main character, she just seemed kind of all over the board. They didn't really establish how she felt about what was going on, so she seems like she flip-flopped and then became a different character like throughout the movie. But that's just enough on that.
It might have been my reading of the book beforehand, but like, I felt like I had a better grasp of the character. Just at least I might have just filled in the details myself, but
yeah,
it was acceptable to me.
Yeah.
Also, few small details. In the in A New Hope, the Force is treated as a rather mystical aspect.
Yeah.
In this movie, it was just like a little too commonplace for comfort.
Oh yeah, the way that the people said "May the Force be with you," like it doesn't make sense for some of the characters.
I didn't think that made sense in universe.
Yeah, I liked how like the guy though had a weird mysticism about the Force. That was really cool.
True. That
like
was
he
very
was
cool.
like he didn't know what the Force was, but he was Force sensitive, so he kind of prayed to it, and he did things, but he didn't necessarily he didn't really understand everything that he did. Yeah, it wasn't a little twisted, but yeah, like different perspective. Because like the Force is so important that like lots of people probably have different interpretations of it. So I like that. Okay. Let's get to the ending. The ending made up. I was on the fence for most of this movie. I was like, it's passable, and it's like,
Spoiler alert, we're going over the ending.
Yes. And the ending, oh my god, what do you want to say about the ending? Oh,
amazing.
It's basically,
amazing.
it's like a better version of like what happened at the end of, I think, like Jurassic World, where like the raptor fights the T-Rex, and you're just like, oh, the movie was like, okay, but at the end it was so epic that you were like, oh my god, and so you just lost your mind, and you're like, I don't care anything else, like that was amazing. That's what like Rogue One was for me. Like, do you want me to like explain? Or do you want to like talk about something?
I don't know if we can do it justice. I think you just have to see it.
I know. Okay, so basically, at the end, we're like, oh yeah, okay, sorry. Adam's mom's sleeping. So at the end, oh my gosh, like the rebels are like trying to break in, and then you start realizing they're starting to get killed off one by one. Well, actually, the whole scene where they're trying to break in and like get the codes is really entertaining. It's very cool. Like they start to battle, and you're like, oh yeah. And then when things turn south, like the characters start dying, and you're like, oh my god. And then you realize you're like, oh my gosh,
they're not going to make it.
They're not going to make it. They're all going to die, and you're like, wow. And then the best part is they do, and that's one of my favorite things about it actually, is they have the guts to like kill off these characters. And that was something really like impactful. I mean, it could have been a little more impactful to get those characters nailed down a little better.
I don't think we should spoil the Darth Vader surprise just in advance. I think we just need to let them. We can't possibly do that scene justice. But
like at the end, even the Rebel fleet, when I thought I was going to save them and they were going to get out okay, that was like supportive of them, and they all died, and it makes so much more sense for the future. Yeah, and like it sets it up for the movie where like why the rebels didn't have that many like people. It really sets up episode 4, I think, pretty well and does it justice. And like the panic. So anyway, they're trying to get the information out to the rebels. I won't say I guess spoil like that part, the Darth Vader part. But like, oh my god, like the rebels are panicking. They're like, oh no, get the ship, like and they're passing it on, and they're like, and they're dying everywhere. The ships are like flying apart. Like things are getting so intense, and the motion is so real. They slip it through like the small door to get it to the next ship, and then the ship jettisons, and then it's like, and then at the end you just see like hope and everything like that. I wish they had gone a little more into like the hope theme, or like a little more of like the rebels are a little bit more evil theme. But great movie. I'd go see
Definitely
it. It's really fun.
Force Awakens.
I think
it's a spectacular
movie. I think it does.
Great way to spend 2 hours.
It's very fun in a terms of like just a good Star Wars movie.
It's a Star Wars experience.
It's a Star Wars experience, and you should y'all see it. That's all I have for that. But Adam's joining us, so thanks for Adam for watching this movie. Coming down from St. Olaf. Yes, and we'll see you when I guess next Star Wars movie comes out in a year. Probably we'll probably see it before then. But okay.
I'll try to cameo a little more.
Okay, sounds good. See ya.